Had to start the show with a little barking from my dogs. National champs Aaron Murray here. Players Lounge, another great show with Brinks TV. Make sure you go download the app right now on your iPhone, Android. The best player content. We're just getting going right now. You've seen it for the past couple of weeks. Only going to get better and better this spring and heading for back-to-back national championships. I'm so excited about this show. We got one of the greatest Georgia football players of all time and the man who's just been absolutely dominant this entire season. I'm talking about Champ Bailey and Javon Bullard in the house, hanging out with us, two of the best. Boys, how we fit? Has anyone slept these past couple nights? We're filming on Wednesday the 11th. I didn't sleep for crap on Monday. Maybe got 2 hours. How's everyone feeling 2 days after the big win? I'll start with Champ.
Well, as a fan, I'm still drinking here, so I feel real good. I'm still partying. I mean, thanks Javon for making this. This is the time to be a Georgia Bulldog, and I appreciate you, brother.
We appreciate y'all passing the torch to us, man. As far as sleeping, I haven't slept. Monday, I definitely didn't sleep. Tuesday, I slept on the plane, but today, I guess I get some good sleep today. But as far as like good sleep, I ain't really had none yet.
Someone told me like classes are going on this week. I'm like, ain't no way anyone's going to class this week. They need to postpone it to Monday. Like, are people going to class, or is everyone kind of like, I've seen downtown Athens after the game. I've seen some pictures. I feel like it's still going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Oh, my boy sleepwalking.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, man.
Hey, soak it up, man. Soak it up.
Hell yeah, dude. We didn't get to do it, unfortunately. So we'll live through you guys in that one. But so the game was over. I did a couple of shows afterwards. I went to lay down in bed at like 1, and I was like restless. So then I got up. I got a 6-week-old, so I went upstairs. I fed her, finished feeding her, folded some laundry. Then I like spent some time with the dogs in the living room, like petting them. And like, it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, man, I need to go to freaking bed. Like, I feel like I played the game. And I'm just some old dude that played like 10 years ago. So we appreciate you guys holding it down. What I want to ask this, like, because last year was sweet, man. First time in 40 years that you guys won a national championship, or that I will say Georgia Bulldogs won a national championship. So super, super awesome moment. Was this just as sweet this year, doing it, even though it was the second time in 12 months?
For me personally, it felt a little bit better just because, like, I feel like I was able to contribute way more than I did last year. I always said, like, last year was good, but I felt like I couldn't really, like, it wasn't necessarily my ring. So I felt like I just had to do more, and I felt like this year definitely just feels a little better personally to me.
Yeah. Chip, did you
I feel that. No, I did not. So he's already accomplished more in his career than I ever will. So I tell you, it's just timing, right? Like, I play cornerback, so I can only control so much. But I tell you what, just speaking on this, how it felt last year compared to this year, I feel like I'm more appreciative this year because it's harder. You think about all that we lost, and you got to replace that. There was a lot of question marks before the season. A lot of question marks, right? But I'm like, I just feel like we could just keep it going. I predicted, I was on the record saying we should go back to back. If we don't, then that just means we had injuries or something was out of whack. But there's no way that anybody plays with us right now. So now I'm gonna sit here and say, hell, I'm looking for the three-peat, and it's not a cocky thing. It's just I'm just looking at the evidence. Like, we're just reloading. So it's more appreciative this one. And if you do it again, oh my God, this goes down as one of the best runs ever. Right.
That's crazy.
You know what I feel? I don't know if I'm not going to have you talk about this because I don't want Billboard any material from you, Javon, but Champ, have you seen their schedule next year? If they don't repeat, then something's wrong. Because that schedule is set up so nice.
That's part of my point. Like,
oh my God,
who's gonna beat them?
Maybe, I mean, the only game I'm on there, I'm like Tennessee at Tennessee, maybe, but like, I don't know. But you guys are so like the issue is, and Javon, you can talk about this. Like, you guys are so young, like on defense. Like, what you guys have coming back at all three levels, man. Then you look at offense, and I've been a big fan of Carson. I'm excited to see what he can do. You got Ladd, you got AD, you got Bowers, you got the kid from Missouri, you got the Rah from Mississippi State. I'm like, this may be no joke, the best team of all 3 years. And you see him every day, Javon. Like, how good can this team be next year? If you focus in, I think that's gonna be the hard part. Like, man, like, can you do it three? Like, how fatigued it's gonna be. Like, but if you guys can muster up that energy and focus, like, how much possibly better could the team be next year?
Me personally, I think it could be just as good, if not better. It's just all in the mind. I feel like it's like Coach Smart said, man, you can't be complacent. That's how the elite stay elite. And our job is we can't get complacent as long as we go in there with the main goal still being the main goal, and that's to win the SEC East, win the SEC, and then go on to compete for a national championship. I feel like we still have that mindset on the day-to-day aspect. I feel like only people that can stop us is us. So like that, like the goal is still the goal. The goal is win every game, but you know what I'm saying, I'd be lying to you if I said we didn't think about that third ring.
Yeah. I mean, that's always, the destination. Let's get that third one. But, in my mind, like, you got to have that confidence. You got to work with that confidence. Like, the preparation and everything it takes to be as good as you are, like, it takes a mindset because you got to attack it every day. People don't see the work. Like, they just see the results on Saturday, the results in the championship game. But it's a lot of day-to-day preparation, man. And I got to give y'all a lot of credit. That is not easy.
All right. So we remember last year, like, Keely had that big pick. Like, we will always remember Keely. RIP, our boy Dan Jackson. I always remember Dan Jackson getting the shit beat out of him on that play too. We appreciate him taking one for the team. But like, you had 2 picks in this game. Like talk about out, and Champ, I would love to hear from you too. Like, what's the interception that you will always remember? And for Javon, like, is this 2 interceptions in the game? But like, how big of a play is that in your history from like when Pee Wee football to high school to college to right now, to get those interceptions? Like, how surreal of a moment is that for you?
That's definitely at the top of my list. I just from coming where I'm from, Millersville, Georgia, as a kid, you dream of a moment like that, to make a play like that in a game like that, man. So for me, for God giving me the ability to make that play, man, it's still surreal to me. I still look at the video like, man, I just got off the phone with my mom not too long ago. Like, Mom, I really just caught that. Like, it was my first one, and then I was able to come back and get a second one. It was crazy, like, because AD called it out. Like, on the second one, they had just ran that same route concept previously on their first drive, and he didn't hit it. Like, it was just the underthrown ball. The play was open, and he didn't hit it. And I was like, we made some adjustments on the sideline, and Kamari was like, he was like, I'm going to jump it. And I was like, okay, if you send outside hard in the flat, I was like, I'm going to jump it. And I just jumped it, man, and I made a play. And that second one, I was like, okay, yeah, it's crazy.
See, that's next level to me, Aaron. And what that tells me is they can relate to each other. So it's funny, you ask about plays that stick out in my mind, in my career, is very similar to his. I remember playing in the playoffs. It was one of my fellow dogs, Ben Watson, walked me down. But I didn't score on that play, but the point is, before that play, they were killing us with a bunch of crossing routes. We used to do this thing where we would blitz 7 people, and it'd just be us, DBs, man-to-man, 0 coverage. So they kept crossing us up because it's the playoffs. They know everything we do. So my fellow corner, Darren Williams, may he rest in peace, we decided we were going to switch it. So we switch it. Brady gets flushed out of pocket. He don't see me underneath, and I catch a pick and almost score. And it changed the game. But that's that sideline in-game adjustments that people just don't see. And that takes you to the next level. That lets me know, like, oh, these guys are coaching themselves. Because that's something that we didn't even have to consult with the coach about. We out here doing it. We're in man-to-man. Let's figure out how to cover these 2 men best way possible. And that's how you make plays. That's how you become elite. And I'm telling you, man, the more y'all work on that, you'll see more and more of that as you go.
I didn't realize, Javon, those are the first 2 interceptions of your career at Georgia. Like
My career. That's
you
why
made
it's
so
so
many big
big.
plays. I didn't realize that was your first two.
It's
Like, my goodness, you broke it in
Like,
well.
like
yeah.
you try not to think
Right.
about the individual accolades along with the season because I'm all about winning. But at the same time, it was like, okay, Chris just got to pick. Malachi just got to pick. Keely just got to pick. I was like, God damn, like, and I was getting sacks and fumble recoveries, everything else. I was just like, but as a DB, like you itching for that pick, like you itching for that interception. So I was like, man, when is my time gonna come? And God's time is always on time, man. So for me to be able to do that in that game, it's still a surreal moment to me.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome. Well, you got sacks, which is that's a dream of any DB. I think you got more sacks this year than I had in my whole career. So, I gotta take my hat off to that.
How much nickel did you play though, champ?
I was playing man to man every time I was in there. So I would say about 25% of my career I was inside, but I was playing man to man. Like nobody blitzed me. They were like, "Why would we take you out of coverage? Let's mix it up." But they never did it. They never did it, man.
I just want to know, like, because the talk all week from people that just want to just talk was like, Georgia's defense, the Keely, especially like Keely was getting picked on all week. I'm like, dude, just simmer down on Keely. Like everyone needs to take a chill pill. But like, to see what happened against Ohio State, it kind of felt like you guys had such a chip on your shoulder. And like the big talk was like, their big receiver Quinn Johnson is going to go off, this, that, and the other. 1 catch, 3 yards, only 152 yards total for that offense. Like, what was the mindset after Ohio State of watching that film and then getting ready for TCU to like give you guys that confidence that you guys can go out there against a pretty good offense, offense that's done really well this year, a receiver that could be the first receiver taken off the board and essentially shutting him out?
We were just doing our job, man. The coaches put out a great game plan. We just tried to execute it to our fullest capability, man. As far as that offense, like we knew they had some weapons, especially at the receiving position and a Heisman candidate quarterback. So we knew, like, in order for us to win, we would have to at least contain it, if not shut it down. But like I said, we were just following what we were told, man. Following what we were told to do, and just execute the game plan to our fullest capability. We made some minor checks. I know it was a play that me and Keely got. It was confusion on from our side. I probably blame that on me, to be honest with you. I was just trying to communicate a little over too much, but after that, we went to the sideline, made some adjustments, and we were just like just doing our job. Like the moment's not too big. We've been here before. We know what to expect, and just doing your job. Not trying to be a superhero, but just doing your job.
Champ, best receiver you ever had to cover. I want to go like you say all this man to man. So I want 2 things. I want best receiver you ever cover, and then give the young man some advice of what you did to shut him down. See, I tell you, if you want some questions, you can take the mic and ask the champ.
Nah, that's a good question. I want to know that.
He wants to know.
So, ironically, the guy they played last week, the guy he knocked out of the game last week, Marvin Harrison, his dad is probably the toughest that I covered. And I don't even think he was the most talented, although he was very talented. It was just he had that Peyton Manning factor to add to it. It was Marvin. He was a beast, but it was like, damn, okay, it's like one-on-ones out there, 7-on-7. I mean, this dude, he was just hard to deal with. And Peyton, he'd throw the ball where I could not touch it. It did not matter how good I was covering him. I had no chance to touch the ball if he threw it my way. And I held him in check. I didn't give up any touchdowns on while Peyton was back there, but it was tough, man. And the way you stop a guy like that is you never give him the chunk play. And when you give guys big plays, you could go methodically down the field, 10 yards here, even 12 yards here, 8 yards. But I'm not giving you 50. I'm not giving you 40. You are not getting over 20 yards because I know those are the drives that you score. Those are the drives that you get your juices going, the big plays. So it's really just limiting those big plays and making it tough. I mean, you're a beast, you hit people. I see Lassiter knocking people out, man. That's the way I tried to play. you catch the ball in front of me, you're gonna feel it, and I'm gonna be right there. So that's kind of the intimidation you build, but you never give them the easy one.
Did you have to ever cover Calvin at all during your time?
Yeah, I had problems with him.
He's such a beast.
Unfortunately, he had Stafford at the time as well, and I tried to play through a bad hamstring, and yeah, he basically exposed me. It was not a good day.
He exposed everyone.
I gave up a big play on him. One of our DNs jumped off sides, and I peeked inside, and they just took the free play. And I'd be damned if he wasn't on top of me in 2 seconds. It's like just like that. And I was like, that's the day. But that summed up the day. But because up to that point, he was in check. I made one mistake and he exposed me.
That's all it takes is one play. But I want to open the mic to you two. Like, any questions that Champ has for Javon? Javon, you got Champ Bailey here, one of the greatest to ever do it, probably the greatest corner to ever do it at Georgia. Mike's open, boys. I want to step aside for a quick second.
Yeah, I'll start it. First off, what position you play? What's your official?
To be honest, man, here I just play defensive back. I play.
There you go. Yeah, right. So keep it that way. But when it's time to go into the league, you're a corner. The reason I say that, they make more money. So be a corner first. It's a good business move. But with that aside, as you look at yourself and you evaluate your game, what do you want to work on to get better at this off season?
I definitely want to get my eyes better. Looking at the right things, not being too greedy. Sometimes I see you see too much, you see a little. So I know sometimes I see too much. That can get me in trouble. And definitely my lateral quickness from my feet. I know I could be dead feet sometimes. I remember the Georgia Tech play specifically. I had that. He had previously ran a chop right on me, and my feet were good, but then he ran it again, and I just had dead feet, just me looking back at the film. But those two things that I know I'll grip that I can get better at, my eyes and my feet, is something that I definitely want to work on this offseason.
Well, you can never overwork the feet, right? But I tell you what, when it comes to your eyes, as you get more experience, you get older, you'll start knowing what you're supposed to focus on, but seeing everything else around it. So it's still, I'm looking at my target, but I can't just be honed in on that. Like, I have to be able to see more than just what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? So you expand your peripheral. Yeah, like you'll see it. It'll start happening. The more experience you get, you'll start seeing how your game starts evolving and growing, and you start seeing things that you just couldn't see because experience teaches you that. So I like the approach. Let's focus on what you need to focus on. Get your eyes in the right place, feet coordinated, and the rest to take care of itself.
Sure. Okay, so I got one. What separated, like, you knew you were good coming into the league, but what separated you, like, what made you different amongst, like, all the other DBs?
Well, I mean, honestly, I was just athletic, right? I would say I was very athletic at I guess I was 20 when I got drafted, but what the difference was, my mentors. Like, my first year, I had a first ballot Hall of Famer teaching me. Now, he was a first ballot already. He could have retired that day and been a first ballot guy. Darryl Green taught me a lot. Now, we had totally different games, but he just watched me for about a good month, just watching me move. Next thing you know, he's just telling me, you should do this, you should do that. And it was little things about his game that he would imply in my game, like feet. Your hands are great, but your feet are better. Because I was a bigger corner. I wanted to get my hands on everybody. But he's like, look, I don't touch anybody, but I cover everybody. And I'm like, well, what does he mean by that? Okay, well, he's not jamming anybody because he's 5'8", 165, soaking wet. But his feet were so good, he could stay in position and maintain the proper position throughout the down because his feet were so good. He was like, you got the same feet, but you don't use them the same way. So I honed in on that. It's kind of like what you said, man, those feet, man, you can't overwork those feet. And he was just always telling me, man, your hands are great, your feet are better. And I learned a lot from him. Those are things that really separated me. And I just did the work. Just do the work, man. You know what the plan is. Just stick to it. Be disciplined. Do the work.
Damn, so all this got me want to go play football again. I'll go pull a damn hamstring, but it gives me a little bit insight of what's going on in DB's mind. So maybe I go out there and not throw so many damn interceptions. So, all right, I'm gonna let you fellas go, man. I appreciate it. Javon, I'll see you on Saturday. Have some fun. Champ, you go in the parade? You make your way there?
Probably be there. I'll probably be there. I didn't go last year. I was like, I'm not going in that chaos, but I probably can't miss it this year.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, well, y'all get some sleep. Have fun. Go Dogs. Congrats again. Back-to-back national champs. First 2 interceptions of his career in the biggest game.
Hit me.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas. See y'all.
Appreciate you, brother.